Bread Tuck, the executive. I'm Chris. That's Mike. What's up with you, Mike?
What's going on, man? We good?
Man, I know a lot of things been going on, this past week. We're going to talk about that. But other than that, you straight out here?
Trying to be, man.
Yeah, man.
Man, trying to keep my head above water like the next man or the next black man.
I'm with you. I'm with you, man. You ready to jump into this, man?
Let's go. Let's not waste no time, dog.
All right, y'all. Last week there were a lot of events that took place. Before we get into the major things, of course, Durant went to a new team. You had Dwayne Wade went to a new team. You had that grandpa that was putting out all those Instagram pictures. But that stuff isn't as important as what's been happening last week. As y'all know, after the 4th of July, Alton Sterling was murdered at the hands of the police. And then like a day or two later, we lost, I want to say his name right,
Philando
Castile at the hands of the police. And then 2 days later or a day later, during a protest, there was a shooting in Dallas where 5 policemen lost their lives. And then other stuff after that. It's just so much is draining.
And then the recent shooting here also in Houston of Alton, Brazil.
Yeah. Man, Mike, where you want to start, man?
And you know, it's so hard to just touch on everything, but I would say this though, and I posted this video on my Instagram for anybody, who follow me is on Instagram. I stated honestly, in white America, they have what you call hunting season. And hunting season when they go out and they hunt animals in the woods, do all that. Right now it's hunting season on black men in America. And the reason why I say that is because we're honestly being targeted and racial profile. And quite frankly, we're being murdered for suspicion of us doing something, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, we all know what it is. So with that being said, I know white America may not understand, and I'm not coming from a racial standpoint, I'm coming from a black man standpoint who's honestly speaking the truth. We're in fear for our lives, man. I'm going to be honest with you. You know what I mean? C-Rob, you and I are probably what ideal white America don't see about black men.
True
So
story.
people who's doing stuff with their lives, entrepreneurship, education, family, never been in trouble with the law day in their life. But none of that matters, because if you and I get pulled over for suspicion of a broken taillight or suspicion of somebody who looks like a burglar or something, it's a possibility we might not make it home. And that is nerve-wracking more than anything that I've experienced in my 32 years of living.
Yeah, man. It's super scary, and I'm gonna be honest with you. It's a shame that this is a conversation that needs to be had, man, because I've been going back and forth with people on Facebook who aren't black, who don't understand, and they just choose not to understand. I went back and forth with a policeman that was a friend of mine. He ended up unfriending me because he was justifying what happened with Alton Sterling. Now, we can argue back and forth. We could say that Alton Sterling was a criminal in his past or whatever. He has a rap sheet. Fine. But what I saw in this video, Mike, was
and let me stop you there. Is there even reason to argue about it? Because what the fuck does Alton Sterling pass? And I'm cursing this time. I told you I was going to stop cursing on these podcasts, but I don't like this conversation. What the fuck does his past have to do with the reason why he was murdered?
Absolutely nothing.
So no point to even go back and forth to nobody on that. That's why I can't understand why people have to debate this. I don't give a fuck about nobody's past. We all have past. Nobody's squeaky clean or perfect in this world. Every president has a past. Every secretary, politician has a past. Even priests, everybody has a past. It does not matter. What matters is the reason why this man was murdered, and it has nothing to do with his past. They not approach this man because of his past. They not shoot this man because of his past. They not suspiciously racial profile this man because of his past. That has nothing to do with it.
True story. True story. I agree with you 100%. And I'm going back and forth with this policeman, and I'm telling him, okay, his past, whatever, but that has nothing to do with the fact that in this video I saw one policeman pinned both of his arms down, and he had his knees pinning him down also, while another man pulled out a gun and shot him. Okay? how do we justify that? That's murder, Mike. I don't care what
It's
kind of
clearly
past
murder.
you have, and whatever happened to taking that man before the court and letting him fight it out in court, Mike.
It's clearly murder because honestly, I told somebody this: those cops has every intention on killing that man. I don't care what nobody say, because that you can tell from the beginning when they approach this man has his right as his amendment to ask any police officer. And anytime you get pulled over by a police officer, stop and they approach you, and whether you get pulled over or whatever, you always ask the officer, "What did I do?" That's your right as an American citizen to ask, "What did you do?" This man was not resisting arrest. He simply asked, "What did I do?" You notice as soon as he asks, "What did he do?" they tell him to get on the ground. For what? You didn't tell this man why you're arresting him. You just tell him get on the ground, and as soon as he doesn't get on the ground, what they do?
I think they tackled him to the ground.
They tackled him. So here's my thing. If you were suspicious from the beginning of a reason why you approached him in the beginning, why weren't you afraid to tackle him? Because if he had a gun, why tackle a man that had a gun?
True story.
Right?
True story.
You didn't get scared to your point. You had him pinned on the ground. Now all of a sudden you scared he had a gun and put 6 shots in him. Yeah. It's all bullshit.
And the gun wasn't even exposed. Okay. Now when did selling CDs become a crime? And I tell you what, selling burnt CDs or whatever, it is a crime. But when did it become a crime to where you murder a person? Whereas, not to bring up old stuff, but you had a young white man named Dylan Roof who walked into a church and killed a bunch of black people. And he got out, the police came and got him, took him to get a hamburger. Whereas a brother in Alton, Sterling, all he gets is a hashtag and a bunch of people who aren't black trying to convince you why he deserved what he got.
Yeah, and now reports is coming out that Alton Sterling wasn't even the man that the suspicious phone call was about. Can you believe that? The phone call, because in that phone call it states specifically that there's a black man in a red shirt selling CDs outside waving a gun, brandishing a gun at homeless people. The eyewitness who was the store owner, Abdullah, state clearly, hey, there was never a gun pulled out. You know, he knows he had it on him for protection, but in that man's 6 years of selling CDs at that store, that man has never pulled out a gun on nobody. That man has had the rights from the store owner to sell CDs. He was cool. He never bothered nobody. So now to come out, you know what I mean, that the suspicious phone call possibly couldn't even been about him. This man was honestly racial profiled and murdered because of it. I don't see why it is so ignorant for white America to really understand that. For anybody outside of who isn't a black person who questions it either, I don't see why that is so hard logically to understand that.
I mean, you know what I've come to the realization, Mike, and we'll get more into that. It's a lot of people outside of our culture that just don't want to understand. That's why they're trying to convince you why murdering this guy in cold blood was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Then let's go a step further, Mike. We 2 days later or a day later, I forget what it is, you send me the video of Philando Castile.
Yeah, for sure.
Getting murdered. And this guy has no criminal record. To my understanding, he's reaching in the glove compartment for his license or something like that.
Yeah, so he gets pulled over. Now, this is, and I always want people to understand logic and know your rights, know your research. And let's take it from the beginning. See, Rob, you get pulled over by the cops, right? And if I'm in the car with you, if a cop get out of the car, what side would he approach first?
When the cop gets out, I think they go to the passenger side first. Huh?
No, they go to the driver's side, actually, right? If I'm driving a vehicle and if you're the passenger and the cop pulled me over, or vice versa, if you're driving and if I'm in the passenger, a cop pulls you over, a cop always goes to the driver's side of a vehicle first, and they ask you for your license and registration.
Okay.
That's the procedure of any cop. Philando Castile was in the passenger side of the car. His fiance, his girlfriend, whoever she was the one driving the vehicle. My question is this: why is the police officer going to his side of the vehicle first, where he's at, and start asking him for his information as far as his ID?
That's interesting.
And not the driver. For the suspicious broken tail light that you pulled him over for, but now we got the phone call come out, and this is all facts now, right? They got pulled over for suspicious broken tail light that was never broken. But now the audio has come out, and he said in the audio, hey, these look like some people who could possibly be burglars just because he has a wide nose.
Mm.
That's what you call racial profiling, people. So now, long story short, he asks this man for his ID. This man states, hey, I have a concealed license to carry because Minneapolis is a open gun law, just like Texas is. So he said, hey, I'm reaching for this, officer. I'm going to give it to you. The officer was aware of this, but as soon as he reached for it, he put 4 shots at him with his 4-year-old daughter in the back.
Mm. And his fiance's record. Thank God for video cameras, because I mean, even if you don't believe us, at least it's on tape.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know, and she was able to live stream this thing. And I just look at this video, man, and I see this brother just leaned over, helpless, just bleeding.
Yeah.
Right, and his daughter's in the back seat.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, Mike. And you know what, social media, sometimes it's just good to just get away from social media, because I'm going down my social media and I see a bunch of black people upset, which is understandable. I mean, that's one of us. We get upset behind that.
Yeah.
But then I see my other friends that aren't black. They're just going on business as usual. They're posting about their ski trips, posting about their day, you know, just posting about all this other stuff. And it's like nobody cares, because this is just something that just continuously happens.
Because in white America is just another nigga dead. That's
story.
really all it is. And let me not say white America as far as everybody, because I don't think every white person is racist. You know what I mean? I truly say that all the time. I have white friends. I have Asian friends. I don't think everybody outside of black is racist. But to white racist America, it's just another nigga dead. They don't care. You know what I mean? And that's how they look at it. You know what I mean? That's why when Philando Castile, people were so surprised to say, like, hey, you can't paint a picture about his background, his criminal background now, because the dude worked at a school for 12 years. I always say, like, it was heartwarming when you heard white people, even the teachers, the principals, the kids called him Gentile. Everybody loved him. He worked at a school for 12 years, supervisor of the cafeteria. They even said they had special stories of kids who didn't want to eat their vegetables, how he had to